Imagine taking over a profitable Shopify or Amazon brand without paying a single dollar up front. Sounds impossible, but that's exactly what some digital entrepreneurs are doing with SBA loans, a tool most people think only works for brick-and-mortar businesses. Let's zoom out for a second. The Small Business Administration has been helping traditional businesses get loans since 1953. Cafes, repair shops, hair salons, boring businesses, think Cody Sanchez and her content. But something changed recently. In 2023 alone, the SBA backed over $27 billion in small business loans. And a growing slice of that money is going towards e-commerce. Yes, sellers with Amazon FBA accounts, Shopify storefronts, WordPress, or even digital brands are getting in on this. They're using these loans to buy entire e-com businesses without raising venture capital, without maximizing our credit cards, and without draining personal savings. The strategy? Acquire an online brand using an SBA loan and structure your deals so the business pays for itself over time. It sounds like a loophole, but it's legit. Banks are approving these deals every day if you know how to position yourself. And in a market where e-com aggregators are collapsing and VC money is drying up, this kind of leverage might be the last real tool left for smart growth and wealth creation. So let's walk through how these deals actually happen, from the first lender call to owning a profitable digital store. First, you need to understand what an SBA loan actually is. SBA stands for Small Business Administration. They don't lend money directly. Instead, they guarantee a portion of a loan from an actual bank or a lender, and that guarantee reduces the lender's risk and increases your chances of approval. These loans typically come with a far more favorable term setup than traditional small business financing. We're talking lower interest rates, usually between 6 and 10%, and of course it will go down as the Fed lowers the interest rates, and an extended repayment timeline, often up to 10 years. But here's the real reason lenders are so open to these deals. The US government is covering a big part of that risk. Under the SBA 7A program, the government guarantees 75% to 85% of the loan amount, depending on the size. So if the borrower defaults, the bank only stands to lose a small slice of the total. That makes these loans incredibly attractive to lenders, even when the business is small, new, or asset-light. And here's what surprises most people. SBA loans aren't just for restaurants or brick-and-mortar shops. If your documentation is solid and you apply in the right way, e-commerce qualifies too. Now, let's explore which ones actually work best for e-commerce business. There are three main types of SBA loans that e-commerce sellers can benefit from. Let's break them down. The first is the 7A loan. This is the most common one and the one that's most relevant to acquire a business. You can use it to buy an existing company, fund inventory, invest in marketing, or refinance higher interest debt. The second is the microloan. This is for smaller capital needs, up to $50,000. It's a good fit for newer sellers who just need help with inventory or ads. And third, there's the SBA Express. Faster approval, fewer steps, but you pay slightly higher rates. It's useful when time is of the essence, especially if you're trying to secure a deal fast. But not all of them will be the right fit. Choosing the wrong one can delay funding or sink your application entirely. So pick based on your business goals. If you're acquiring, go for the 7A. If you're scaling, microloan or express might be more practical and better suited. Let's say you find a Shopify brand. It's been around for 3 years. It's doing $600,000 a year in revenue, good margins, clean books, and the owner wants out. You negotiate a $300,000 purchase price. And let's stick with this number, but I'm sure you can get it for $150,000 in this environment. Now, here's where SBA loans come in. With a 7A loan, 90% of the purchase price can be covered by the bank. That's $270,000. You're responsible for the remaining 10%, $30,000. But in many deals, a portion of that $30,000 can be financed by the seller through what's called a seller note. This means the seller agrees to receive part of that payment over time, often over 6 to 12 months, sometimes 24 months, using the profits the business generates after the sale. So instead of paying the full $30,000 up front, you might only bring $15,000 to closing, and the remaining $15,000 gets paid out to the seller later, directly from the business cash flow. And even that $15,000 you bring to the table doesn't necessarily have to be your own money. It can come from partner, a business line of credit, a grant, or just make the seller note cover the full $30,000. And that way you pay only $0 upfront. That's what I call leverage. You're acquiring a revenue generating asset often with less than 5% down or actually 0% down. But it only works if the lender believes the business can pay back the loan, of course, too. So your job becomes proving that the business is stable, predictable, profitable, and well documented. Now, if you want the bank to take you seriously, you need to come to the table with more than just enthusiasm. Lenders need to see a clean track record, 2 years of tax returns, a profit and loss statement, a current balance sheet, bank statements, and a 12-month forecast. They also want to see a business plan. It doesn't have to be 40 pages long, but it needs the answer to main questions. Who is running the business? What's the growth opportunity? And how will the loan be repaid? And no, you don't need to own a property. For smaller loans, collateral is usually not required. Above that, lenders will ask for business assets like inventory, equipment, even your e-com account history. You need to play nice here. A minor inconsistency cash flow or mistakenly submit messy books and you'll get denied fast. With clean data and realistic projections, lenders are ready to work with you. In the description below, I'm attaching a link where you can get a full template to e-commerce financial modeling, and you can use that to also help with your application. The next question might arrive in your mind: what will be the actual application process? But before that, if you found this breakdown helpful so far, please subscribe to my channel. I will be talking about other e-commerce wealth creation strategies here, and you can help me grow. Now, let's walk through what actually happens when you apply. Note it step by step. Step 1, you find an SBA approved lender. A great place to start is your local small business development center. They offer free consultations. Step 2, you submit your initial documents and business plan. Step 3, you'll do a discovery call. The lender will ask questions about your acquisition target or your current store. Step 4, they'll ask for follow-up documents, mostly around cash flow and expenses. And step 5, you wait for approval. On average, this takes 2 to 3 weeks. Once approved, funds can hit your account in under 10 days. Now that you know how the process works, let's talk about what it actually costs to use an SBA loan. Well, SBA loans aren't free, but compared to other options, they are extremely affordable. You can expect 2 to 3% guarantee fee. That goes to the SBA. And then you might also pay closing costs, usually around $2,000 to $3,000, depending on your lender and the size of the loan you're taking out. Some lenders require an appraisal or third-party valuation of the business. That's another $1,000 to $3,000 or so. But think about it this way. On a $100,000 loan, you're spending somewhere between $3,000 to $10,000 to get 10 years of low interest rate funding. That's a trade most smart operators would make any day. If you're using credit card or revenue-based financing, this feels like a breath of fresh air. The costs are small, but the benefits, it could be a massive leverage. Now, if you're still not sure if SBA funding is a fit for your business, let's wrap it up with a simple test. Here's a breakdown. If you're trying to buy or scale an e-commerce business, if your store or your target is at least 2 years old, if you've got documented revenue and clean operations, this strategy is for you. But if your business is brand new, if your numbers aren't stable, or if you're not ready to show a clear path and plan for growth, you're better off waiting, cleaning things up, and applying later. The opportunity is real, but it requires preparation. If you apply too early or without a clear plan, it feels like running into a wall. But if you meet the criteria, this one is the smartest funding move you can make. And if you legitimately want to see how real founders are pulling this off, acquiring cashflow e-com brands with almost nothing out of pocket, join our Telegram group using the link in the description. You'll get access to some tested strategies and quality deal flow, creative deal structures, and behind the scenes insights you won't find anywhere else.